and welcome to another episode of Inappropriate Movie Database, the comedy game show about content warnings. I'm your host, Nick Martucci. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I don't know how you got here, but I'm glad you got here. I'm glad you found yourself here, whether you're watching now, live as I speak, or somewhere in the future after we're all gone and you somehow found access to old YouTube videos. Either way, I'm just happy that you're finding some entertainment right now. I'm so excited for this show. It's going to be so fun. Before we do that, if you are new to this show, you should go ahead and join the Facebook group. If you search Inappropriate Movie Database or click the link in the description, that's like the big community for this show, and that's where I book the show for the most part. Speaking of, June's coming up real quick, so I'm going to start booking June shows within the next week. So if you want to be a part of this show, if you want to be on the show, I love having new people. Go to that Facebook group now, join it, or join the Instagram and Twitter at IMDb Game. I post there too. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We got some fun shows planned so far, some guest hosts planned so far for that. Speaking of guest host, if you want to come back here on this channel that you're watching on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Jenny Ismay is going to be back on the show hosting another round of musicals. Somebody who's currently on this show is going to be on that show as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we do have one other show left next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. One show left in May. We're doing movies with "and" in the title. I'm giving you words in the title for that. And there's still space on that show. So if you're looking for a way to jump in with an episode that might not be too difficult, that'd be a great run. So reach out to me, any of those social medias, be a part of this show. I'd love to have you on. Tonight, as far as themes go, we're doing movies starring athletes. And you'll see that I have real loose definitions of athletes and starring.
Oh, no.
Some of them do have
many movies with The Rock in them.
I tried to create a list of different people. Some people show up a lot more than other people. Some people only have a couple of memorable scenes in the movie, but they're worth mentioning. We'll see how that affects play tonight, if any of these players tonight will be hurt or helped by that. I've talked way too much. Let's bring in the guests tonight. Joining me on the show are Joe, Buckley, Liz, Estey, Lloyd, Legacy Sharp, and Sammie James. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Talk to you individually for a minute. First up, returning from last Thursday, she made her debut as the host of this show with Traumatizing Movies. That was so much fun. After you're done watching that, you should go back and watch that one. Sammie James back on the show. Hey, Sammie.
Hey.
Now you are coming off the other side of this show. You now know how it feels to be on this side. How do you feel about being back as a guest?
Relieved. I did make you do most of the work while
I'm happy to do it. I love having guest hosts because it means I get to play this dumb game.
You won that one.
Yeah, that was the only I struggled for a while.
Yeah, it was game. I didn't realize how tough a game I made.
you had some real out there movies on.
Like the classic traumatized us as kids movies. The ones that I was able to use, they were all options. You just didn't pick them. We just didn't get to them. I had 45 movies. I know that's
I will say that's more movies than I have for this show tonight. Well, I will ask you this because I feel like you might be the one to struggle with the question the most. Who is your favorite athlete to be in movies? You don't have to pick a specific movie or a specific role. Who's your favorite athlete turned actor? if any?
You know, I'm gonna just put this out there. Okay, make it happen. I'm really excited for Megan Rapinoe's movie career.
She's such a presence. I can really see that working. I'll be honest, you mentioned her on the Facebook thread earlier.
Oh, I'm going to be making up so many movies tonight.
And I did then go to IMDb and look up the parental warnings for LFG and couldn't use it. I tried. I wanted to have one of, it's the only movie really she's been in. But LFG is great if you haven't seen that. Watch that.
I mean, a lot of professional wrestler movies. It's like
yeah, wrestling.
Like, you know what? I'm gonna say The Rock.
Solid choice. Maybe the most successful.
The thing is, unlike a lot of athletes turned actor, some really good movies.
It took him like 15 years to get a good one, but once he did.
We didn't like Walking Tall.
I got Walking Tall on DVD from my local library and watched it. And that's how much of a Rock fan I am.
Walking Tall, The Rundown.
That's a remake.
Be Cool. We can go through Dwayne's early career.
How could you forget Scorpion King?
Who said I forgot Scorpion King?
I saw it.
All right, we've talked about The Rock enough. Also, speaking of wrestling, I think I can say that he's like our the closest we have to a wrestler on the show, making his 20th appearance as a guest on this here program. Lloyd, Legacy Short, back on the show. Hey, Lloyd.
Well, let me tell you something, Martucci.
Good night, Lloyd.
I love the fact that I can be on this show and no longer claim that I am going for the most losses. But I also hate that because the host of this show on Thursday, last I checked, is now free to freaking take that. And
I
won. I mean, you're still 1-18 in my heart.
Yeah. Pretty bad. Like, all somebody has to do is like win once, and then we're like even keeled.
How you feeling about this one? I feel like you might do okay on here if you choose to guess.
Yes. So here's the thing people don't know about me. I'm a huge sports fan. I don't talk about it a lot because everybody else does. I don't need to. But I did grow up huge into sports. I'm still huge into sports. And I know a lot of athletes that have been in movies. And so I feel like I should do well tonight. But given the kind of clues that IMDb gives me to work with, you never have to know. Chances are I will be at the second point clue. I'll be the 2-point clue being, God damn it, I should have known that.
I mean, I will say that this group of people, it's pretty wide open, I think, on who could win this. I don't know if I have somebody in my mind that I think they're going to do so much better than everyone else.
Yeah.
So
going for lowest score in the history of this game. I'm just letting you know.
Negative 33, Sammie.
Is that a Josh Pick score?
So Lloyd, who's your favorite athlete turned actor?
Well, it's not O.J. Simpson, but
whatever happened to him?
Since Sammie already said The Rock, I won't say the obvious one. I'm going to say it's a toss-up between Michael Jordan and Hulk Hogan. Now,
why?
Neither one of them are successful transition to actor athletes, but Hulk Hogan is the biggest name in professional wrestling history, and obviously I grew up on him, not so much in recent years, but childhood. And Michael Jordan starred in probably my favorite movie of my childhood up until the point where I saw it, which is Space Jam. Up until the point where I saw it. Like I had seen better movies, but I had never seen Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny on screen together. And whether it was good or bad, that was just a moment.
Why didn't you watch those
Hulk Hogan and Michael
commercials? The commercials with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny that the movie's based on.
Yes, that was you had to be there. You had to be there.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk Hogan is the only wrestler with Hollywood in his name, so I think he fits the category.
This is true. This is true. And I will say this before you get to the next person. Mr. Nanny is not good, but it is stupid fun, and I will defend that.
That's going to be one of the movies I solely guess tonight.
I would say the same thing about Suburban Commando.
That movie definitely took place. Yes.
Did Hulk Hogan wear a tutu in Suburban Commando? I
don't think so.
No, okay.
Comedy
Mr.
gold
Nanny
right there.
And let's never speak of the Holds Barred again.
Well, Lloyd, welcome back. Also returning to the show, another person who has hosted this show before, so she understands what it's like being in this position. Also on the show so much, I think you've been on like 16 times now.
Oh
Liz Estey back on the show. Hey, Liz.
Yeah, I'm back.
How you doing tonight, Liz?
I'm something, you know. Like I don't know. I've been trying radical move since the pandemic, but I've been trying not to say like I'm doing well or I'm doing fine. Like I've been trying to be radically honest, which is extremely off-putting and like horrifying to other people. And that's kind of my energy. So I am not doing well, but I'm not doing poorly either. So I'm just kind of in neutral.
In fairness, that's the worst question I ask on every episode. I have yet to figure out, we've been here for, 3 years now? I have yet to figure out how to say hello to people. Hey, you're still alive. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Well, Liz, how do you feel about this topic? How do you feel about athletes in movies?
I feel very strongly that Dave Bautista is the best athlete turned actor because he has actually done things that are not just like his wrestling persona in a movie. I'm not naming names, but that has happened and continues to happen a lot. Like he's actually done stuff that's like outside of what you would expect from him, like especially his work in like Denis Villeneuve's films. So like he had a small but important role in Blade Runner 2049, which is an underrated masterpiece in my opinion. And then he also had just like truly terrifying work in Dune, which was one of my favorite movies from last year. So that's why, but he has the comedic chops, but I feel like that's an easier jump from wrestling because like the whole thing is these like overblown personas. So like the subtler work that he's done in the more like prestige projects, I feel like is better.
I mean, yeah, I think that's why wrestlers have an easier time like getting into movies than most other athletes because they're just bulk drama kids.
Yeah. That's basically what it is. Like that's what it is. So, yeah. Also, what should be a role for an athlete turned actor, but is instead a monster CGI creation, She-Hulk. I'm not going to get into that, but like you could have cast a female bodybuilder and put like green paint on her and it would have looked better.
Fair.
Because
Mila Rose is She-Hulk. Sorry.
Yes. But like also literally almost anything would be better than the imagery they put out in that trailer. And I just want to say that was an opportunity for them to like help someone make the jump and they didn't. So, and just like also like the proportions are so, I feel like, I don't know, other people who don't, I I spend too much time on Twitter. We've established that. But like, there was recently, because like Megan Thee Stallion mentioned her weight, and then a bunch of men were like, "That's not possible. How could she be so heavy?" And it's like, you don't understand the way like women carry weight on their bodies. Like, I don't know how to explain that to you. But anyway, so
yeah, so a wrestler should have played She-Hulk.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Wrestler did play She-Hulk. China, different genre. Look it up.
Yeah. I don't need to look it up. I've seen at least 2 of those movies. Well, Liz, welcome back. Finally, returning to the show, long overdue. I was looking beforehand. He hasn't been on in like 40 episodes. Joe Buckley, finally back on the show. Hey, Joe.
What's up? How we doing?
Doing okay. How are you?
Ooh, I'm good. I'm happy. I didn't realize it was going to be so wrestling heavy, but I did wear a Macho Man T-shirt today, so it's just kind of fell into place. Who had a nice little appearance in Spider-Man as Bonesaw.
Sure did.
So, he nailed that as he played, a wrestler.
Real stretch.
But, happy to be back.
Going nowhere.
Happy to have you back. How are you? How are you feeling about this topic? I know you just said it's heavy on wrestling.
Well, yeah, just us talking about it heavy on wrestling, and I had a feeling there'd be a couple questions with wrestlers in them, but I'm ready to go. I feel okay about it. I'm bad at remembering names of movies. So is it the athlete that's in the movie, or are we naming the movie?
It is the movie. I need you to name the movie.
That's going to be trouble.
Yep.
That's going to be an issue for me. But and to answer your question, favorite athlete turned actor, easy one, O.J. Simpson.
I mean, great in the Hertz commercials, and just was able to take that into a real funny career. Shame he never went further with it.
Yeah.
I was looking, and like his last movie role was in like 94, and I don't know what happened to him after that.
Yeah. Strange.
It was real towering inferno.
Just disappeared.
Actually, he was the first one to have a reality TV show.
Remember when he just joined social media and started just threatening people on TikTok?
Yep. Who could forget?
Yeah. What a guy.
I wasn't on TikTok yet. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I wasn't on TikTok either, but they kept showing up on Twitter because everyone was like, "Yo, why is O.J. Simpson?"
O.J. Simpson, like his first post is just like, "Hello, everybody. I have a couple of scores to settle." Well, welcome back, everybody. Like I said, so excited to have you on the show. If this is your first time watching, here's what's going to happen tonight. I have gone to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I have pulled parental warnings for a bunch of movies starring athletes. They'll fit. I'm sure you'll get angry at me for some of these, but no, I think they all fit. Anyway, these parental warnings, I don't know who writes them. I don't know why they write them. I'm glad they write them, because it's almost 100 episodes in, and we still got more of the ramblings of these special individuals. What's going to happen is I'm going to read these warnings. My friends here are going to try to figure out what movie I'm warning you against. I'm looking at these names right now, and I'm realizing for the names I don't recognize, I didn't put what sport they played or where they're from. So I hope somebody on the show knows older athletes. And if you don't, trust me, they're athletes. I've done my own research.
You just didn't write it down.
That has notoriously informed everybody correctly.
So unless there's anything else, I think it's time to jump into the game. And to do that, Joe, I'm going to go to you first. Would you like a movie from 1976, 1998, or 2006?
98.
98. First movie of the night from 1998 for 5 points under the category of violence and gore. Main character is beaten up by the police during an interrogation. Sammie has a guess. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Sammie, well, yeah, Sammie, what do you think this movie is?
It's the movie that came to me for the 90s, just off the top of my head, and then you read that clue. I'm still gonna say it. Steel.
It is not Steel. I stand by
thank God.
Steel. I am one of the few defenders of Steel. I think it's a fun movie. It's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
I will do it.
For 4 points under the category of alcohol, drugs, and smoking, a man drugs a dog and accidentally spikes a woman's alcoholic drink with it, causing her to get hyper.
Wow. Too early for Michael Vick.
Why would Michael Vick drug a dog? He needs them active. Sammie, what do you think this movie is?
It's something with Mike Tyson in it.
You know I can't give you anything.
I told you what I'm doing tonight.
That's fine.
Something with Mike Tyson in 1998. Does WrestleMania 14 count?
Then in the spirit of the game, I will take away a point for that guess.
Thank you.
For 3 points under the category of violence and gore, main character gets into a fight with a small dog that bites him in the groin. He eventually gets the dog off his crotch and it's thrown through a window.
Huh.
Joe has a guess. Anybody else?
I can't. I want to guess every round, but I'm just like, I can't make words.
Joe, do you know what this movie is?
It's something about Mary.
Featuring a very prominent role from the Green Bay Packers, Brett Favre.
Oh
This is something about
I
Mary.
honestly almost said this.
That's why Brett Favre was still relevant in 1998. Fuck.
Uh-huh. Back before he was taking pictures and sending them to reporters.
Yeah. Good times.
Other clues, and there's something about Mary under violence and gore, grotesque male nudity. Main character inadvertently spots his date changing while urinating, then hastily zips up his pants, catching himself in his zipper. An extreme close-up of his mangled genitals is seen. It is later implied that he starts bleeding, but we don't see any blood.
The
And
cameos
6
from Lenny Clark and Steve Sweeney, Boston comedians. In that.
That is true. I mean, it's a Fairley Brothers movie. They love throwing the Boston guys in there.
Yeah.
And sex and nudity, a man seen masturbating. Not shown, just arm movements. But we see the semen on his ear later, and a woman mistakes it for hair gel and puts it in her hair.
I would just like to say this is one of those movies that before I even knew it was misogynistic, I knew it was misogynistic in my gut, and therefore have never seen it and will never see it. And the Farrelly brothers can go suck a bunch of dicks. They're so homophobic, it will be upsetting. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
All fair points made.
And also, no, I hate them, and I'm still mad about Green Book.
Also, I can tell you that stuff doesn't work like hair gel.
Makes a great beard balm, though, doesn't it, Nick?
That's how I get the shine. At the end of the first round, Joe is in the lead with 3 points. Liz and Lloyd at 0. Sammie at -2.
Yeah.
Liz, would you like a movie from 1974, 1987, or 2005?
2005. That's chaotic. What movie came out in 2005?
Only like 3 of them. All right. From 2005 for 5 points, under frightening and intense scenes, the game itself is extremely intense and rough.
Yes, Triple H is that. But I don't think he was in this movie.
For 4 points under violence and gore, one character is seen experiencing a life-threatening medical crisis in a hospital. Sammie has a guess. What do you think, Sammie?
This is someone getting a concussion. The movie.
This is not the Will Smith movie Concussion.
Football player in 2005.
I think no, Concussion came out later than that.
No, it definitely did.
Yeah, Concussion, it feels like it should have come out before it did, because it like feels, like it has a mid-aughts feel, but I think it came out in the 2010s.
Remember when Will Smith had problems with people getting hit in the head?
Stop. Boo. No. I'm sick of talking about that.
So am I. For 3 points under sex and nudity, there is a fairly in-depth discussion of how males with spinal cord injuries have sex, some explicit language and descriptions of sexual acts.
I think I've seen this movie.
For 2 points under frightening and intense scenes, a man describes having lost all 4 limbs to a sudden childhood illness. This is clearly frightening. This is clearly a frightening idea to the children he explains it to. The other players also describe the mishaps that left them paralyzed.
What?
Is this? I have never seen this film.
Final clue for 1 point under violence and gore. The men play wheelchair rugby. They try to stop the opposing players by ramming their wheelchair into the opposing player's chair. Sometimes this is a violent hit and the player is toppled. I just see Lloyd, which is very rare for this game. Lloyd, can you tell them what this movie is?
I hope I'm wrong. Is it Murder Ball?
I feel like sports documentaries are movies starring athletes. This is Murder Ball.
Oh my God. Oh God. I'm ashamed.
That's one of a couple that I'm like, if you hate that I included it, you're right. But,
I'm ashamed that I know it, but I'll take the point.
Why? It's a good documentary.
It's a good documentary, but it's so sad.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you just told me to watch that thing. I'm not.
Yeah, what platform is that on?
That's a good question. Somebody look that up.
Oh my God.
Joe,
You'll enjoy the rest of this game. I'm gonna go watch that. I'm not waiting.
I mean, like most documentaries that talk about real shit, it's disheartening.
Joe still in first place with 3, Lloyd at 1, Liz at 0, Sammie at -3. Lloyd, would you like a movie from 1973, 1990, or 2004?
2004.
2004.
I swear to God, if this is another documentary.
2004 for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. 2 groups of women insult each other and their respective mothers. Under frightening and intense scenes, women insult each other and their respective mothers.
That's a frightening and that's not a documentary.
Hey,
Andy, what do you think?
This is Whip It long before that movie came out.
Unfortunately, it is not Whip It long before that movie came out.
Roller derby's a sport. I don't know
it
if
is a sport.
did it.
That's true. I don't know if any action. There has to be actual.
I'm sure they
actual roller
cast
derby
actual
in
roller
that.
derby people.
For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, 2 wealthy women treat people in the service industry with disdain in several scenes. Again, frightening and intense scenes, 2 wealthy women treat people in the service industry with disdain in several scenes.
I mean, it's ethically frightening and morally disturbing, but.
For 3 points under violence and gore, 2 men fight against 3 men with many punches and kicks. One is thrown over a store counter. One is tackled into an ice cream cooler. One man holds a gun on 2 other men, and one man has a bloody mouth.
What?
2004.
Okay, I mean, that didn't actually help.
For 2 points under sex and nudity, a suitcase is opened that contains several sets of false breasts. They are skin-toned with nipples.
What? I'm so confused. And Lloyd's about to.
All right. Final clue for 1 point under frightening and intense scenes. 2 men dressed like women threaten 4 other men with physical violence when the men make suggestive remarks, and 2 women yell at a man abusively. See, Liz and Sammie. Anybody else?
No.
Joe's also going to take a guess. You sure, Lloyd?
I am positive, Nick.
Yeah, right. Joe, what do you think this movie is?
White chicks.
Sammie, what do you think?
Is there an athlete in White Chicks? Because that's
I don't know.
Liz, what do you think?
White Chicks is all I can go.
The only redeeming part of White Chicks is Terry Cruz's scenes. Terry Crews in White Chicks played for the NFL.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, but that was before he. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But again, the only scenes worth watching are the ones he's in.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue
At
with
one
this, but
time,
this is
he would have been my favorite athlete and turned actor.
this is the first instance where I am going to question Nick's definition of starring role.
It won't be the last.
Best scenes in the movie, I'll agree with. Starring role,
Joe, still in the lead with 4 points. Liz and Lloyd tied at 1. Sammie remains at -3. Sammie,
I got a point though.
you did. You also lost a point. Sammie, would you like a movie from 1982, 2016, or 2019?
2019.
2019. From 2019 for 5 points under sex and nudity, there's a short scene.
her hair just went boop right there.
Under sex and nudity, there's a short scene where a man and his girlfriend are texting, some sexual texts. Later, they are shown making out, and they fall onto a couch, implying sex, seen from a distance. Joe, what do you think this movie is?
Uncut Gems.
Sammie, what do you think?
The scene probably isn't in this movie.
Say the same thing I did. Say the same thing I did.
Listen, this is, of course, Pay the Women's National Team Fairly, you bastards. The movie.
Again, I told you
good
I
doc.
couldn't get.
That's a good doc. You guys should watch that one.
I couldn't get LFG to work in this. However, I did get Kevin Garnett in Uncut Gems to work in this. This is Uncut Gems.
Yeah. As soon as you said it, I was like, duh. You know?
Other clues in Uncut Gems, one of my favorites under frightening and intense scenes. If you suffer from heart problems or anxiety, I recommend to you to not watch this movie. Your heart will beat as a Ferrari engine. As
a Celtics fan, that can also apply to playing against Kevin Garnett.
Profanity, excessive and constant strong language throughout the entire movie. It gets to the point where it's over the top excess. Well, this isn't the most violent movie ever made. Far from it, actually. It's easily one of the most vulgar.
I feel like it is pretty violent. Like
He gets shot in the face. Gets a shit down and stuffed in a trunk naked.
The context of the violence too is like it's so like upsetting as a viewer. I don't know.
Frightening and intense bone in the opening scene. I mean, like right out of the gate.
It's not Passion of the Christ, but
that's true. Frightening and intense scenes. A man is constantly harassed by a gang of vicious loan sharks who beat him up and steal from him. And frightening and intense scenes, despite having the actor as the main lead, this is absolutely not his typical movie, as this is a relentlessly dark and incredibly bleak neo-noir crime thriller film. It features tons of intense moments and extensive use of extreme profanity throughout, as well as a persistent sense of paranoia, dread, and anxiety. It's extremely uncomfortable from beginning to end, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Joe taking a commanding lead with 9 points now. Liz and Lloyd still at 1 each. Sammie is now at -4, but an honorable -4. You could have got the 5 points there. You chose not to.
Oh, listen, there are some years that I have answers just picked out. I told you, I'm making up some movies tonight. I've sent in some messages.
Joe, would you like a movie from 1988, 2014, or 2021?
88.
88.
Good year.
From 1988 for 5 points under violence and gore. One character is hit with a bottle and falls out a window. Sammie, what do you think?
Oh, Lord.
I don't think Mr. Nanny was out yet, but that's what I'm saying.
It is not Mr. Nanny. For 4 points under sex and nudity, at the end of the movie, there is a bare-breasted woman who's apparently, though it's not graphic, at it.
What? Who writes this shit? Oh, God.
For 3 points under violence and gore, there is an extended and brutal fistfight sequence in the middle of the film. Lasts for over 5 minutes.
Shit.
Sammie has a guess. Joe, I feel like doesn't remember. Oh, Joe might know it.
Oh.
Joe, what do you think?
Oh, I thought I got to go second.
Nope.
I think it's a movie with Roddy Piper.
Oh, I actually think I know the name.
It's Roddy Piper, and he fights that guy. They did it at the South Park, you know.
Yeah, what's it called?
Fucking They live, I live, they live. They
Lloyd,
live.
do you know what this movie's called?
Shit.
I personally believe that it is 1988's Roddy Piper, They Live.
Sammy, do you agree?
It is absolutely. Unless it's not, They Live, which I love this movie.
It would be so funny if after all of that, it wasn't Roddy Piper in They Live.
And listen, yeah.
Also in They Live, under violence and gore, a man enters a bank with several guns and goes on a shooting spree, killing several aliens. And frightening and intense scenes, the faces of imposter humans look like gruesome skulls with eyes which may be frightening to some. Joe is still in the lead now with 12 points. Lloyd is at 4. Liz is at 1. Sammie is at -2.
I'm here to lose the game and chew bubblegum. I'm all out of bubblegum.
Lloyd, you're in second place. You know that, right?
I was gonna say. You're really confident about not getting anything else right.
I mean,
you're on your way to your high score, Lloyd.
This is true. But at best, it was a They Live reference.
It was. It was always my dumb joke. I couldn't get to work. I've come to
The hands. I couldn't make.
I've come to make
Taking
friends
my
and
glasses
chew.
off. There we go.
I've come to make friends and chew bubble gum. Would anybody like some bubble gum?
I like it. I like it. That's how you make friends in
Put the
1988.
glasses on so you don't trip.
Liz, would you like a movie from 1976, 1987, or 2006?
I guess I am not going to learn anything. 2006.
2006.
Can't wait to have no idea what this is.
From 2006 for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. Barren farm fields are depicted. Vast unemployment occurs. People are protesting the situation. Sammie, what do you think the movie is?
Yeah, this is Chuck Liddell, the movie.
Unfortunately, no, it is not Chuck Liddell, the movie. For 4 points under sex and nudity, there is a long scene wherein an audience is watching a movie comprised solely of a shot of a man's behind, naked buttocks. Fart sounds are heard. What do you think? Oh, hold on. Joe, what do you think?
That would be Randy Couture, the movie.
Sammie, what do you think?
It is very much Kenny Florian, the movie. I listen pre 2015. So many MMA fighters in there.
I don't want the bit to end, but I'm telling you right now, you're kind of off base with your guesses. But no, keep trying.
Keep the kayfabe. Don't break kayfabe, Nick. Don't break kayfabe.
For 3 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, everyone consumes a sports drink as frequently as water. As frequently as water is consumed in reality. Lloyd, what do you think?
Is this Gridiron Gang?
Sammie, what do you think?
This is probably something Chris Lieben would do in 2006, the movie.
Okay, so that one and not the remake, right?
Yeah.
No, and unfortunately, it's not Gridiron Gang either.
Damn it.
For 2 points under frightening and intense scenes, domiciles are equipped with large overstuffed chairs with built-in toilets. Overlarge TV screens overwhelm living rooms. Program choices are not uplifting. There is a violence channel.
Huh.
Definitely not Gridiron Gang.
Joe, what have you got this time?
That'd be George St. Pierre, How I Overcame Bullying.
Sammie, what do you
I
think?
have a real guess.
What is your real guess?
Idiocracy.
It is the second time we're getting to Terry Crews.
Oh,
this
God.
is Idiocracy.
Which I feel like is too much Terry Crews at this point.
Well, I mean, you all are picking the years. I can't do anything about that.
I mean, Gridiron Gang came out in 2006. You could have picked The Rock.
I was all set to guess the A-Team remake years before it came out with Rampage Jackson, but then I had to realize
The A-Team remake came out in 2009, right?
If you don't remember, good.
I want to say that's one of those movies that I went to like the first screening of at midnight just to have something to do. There were nobody else in the theater.
Nope.
Well, that was back when midnight screenings happened at midnight, and
that was such a weird cast combination.
That remake had the proper amount of people it deserved in theater that night, and even Nick there is being generous.
Final clue under violence and gore. One recurring male character is constantly kicked or otherwise impacted by a hard object in his groin. This is supposed to be funny to the morons of the future.
Ow, my balls.
Burn.
Joe still in the lead, now at 10 points. Lloyd still in second, now at 3 points. Liz at 1, Sammie at -3.
Just hovering there.
Lloyd, would you like a movie from 1973, 1990, or 1994?
1994.
1994.
Sammie's hard, I guess.
From 1994 for 5 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, drug use is a theme, but it is never shown.
Huh.
Yeah. Why do you say, huh? You know what this movie is, Sammie. What's this movie?
Yeah, listen, I don't remember that from Mr. Nanny, but
Unfortunately, it's still not Mr. Nanny.
I told you when I asked to be on there, that I was gonna say that a lot.
For 4 points under profanity, frequent profanity in passing, of the sort you'd hear on the streets of any major city.
That narrows it down.
Sure does. For 3 points, Joe, what do you think?
Ghost.
Who's the athlete in Ghost?
The Ghost.
Swayze probably did gymnastics or something.
That's
Whoopi
true.
Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg is an EGOT because she got an Estey award too. For 3 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, alcohol and smoking is seen in passing throughout. Drug usage, in particular, and its effects on the family is one of the themes of the movie. No drug usage is shown on screen. All right, Sammie, what now?
I know it's not this movie. I know you'll never use this movie, and I thank you for it.
Yeah.
But I think Ace Ventura came out in '94, and
It
that
sure
has a
did,
football
and
player
has
in it.
Dan Marino in it, and I will not use that movie in this game.
Oh, okay.
For 2 points under violence and gore, no violence on screen. But the violence of the ghetto is a theme of the movie and affects the characters.
I'm not going to make a joke, guys.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, don't want to get canceled.
Final clue for 1 point under frightening and intense scenes. Intense basketball play. Only potentially frightening scenes are those of arthroscopic surgery on one of the players. All right, Liz, what do you think?
No, never mind.
Lloyd, you said, oh God. Do you know what this movie is?
Is it Hoop Dreams?
Lloyd nailing every single documentary in this game tonight.
I keep getting thrown with a documentary thing. I don't think that's on the table.
I came really close to saying white men can't jump. And I don't think there were athletes in that movie.
There were.
Yeah, Lloyd, you've seen all the sad, uplifting docs.
I grew up in a sports family. They wanted to know what was going on behind the scenes.
Joe still in the lead now at 9 points. Lloyd right behind at 4. Liz at 1. Sammie at -5.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just a beneficiary of Joe's.
Listen, this is way better than I planned on doing tonight.
Of Sammie's guessing gimmick.
Sammie, would you like a movie from 1982, 2014, or 2016?
82.
82. From 1982 for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes.
She's already got a guess.
The two opponents may be scary to younger viewers.
This is The Incredible Hulk, the TV show.
You know, I tried to make either of the TV movies work, and it didn't. The Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
I
with
might have an
Daredevil.
actual answer as we go on, but
All
that's,
right.
I'm sticking with that.
No. For 4 points under sex and nudity, an antagonist says, quote, "If your wife wants to see a real man, tell her to come to my place tonight."
I have seen this movie.
Joe has a guess. Anybody else?
Mm-mm.
Joe, what do you think this movie is?
Rocky 3?
Featuring both Hulk Hogan and Carl Weathers apparently played football. I learned that. What was that?
Thunderlips. Hulk Hogan's name is
Yes.
Thunderlips.
He sure is. Yes, this is Rocky 3.
How did I not? Not okay. Forget Hulk Hogan because yes, he's in the. I've seen Rocky 3 100 times. How did I not guess?
Mr.
Then
T
how
wasn't
you-
an athlete?
Surprisingly, I couldn't find any sort of like professional.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, speaking of A-Team, Mr. T,
Yeah.
the
Yes,
T
Hulk
and
Hogan was
T.
an athlete, or at least what they considered an athlete in the 80s.
You just had to have muscles.
Dude, he
Exactly.
credits that movie for like launching him like into.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It did. It did. Really.
Yeah.
Right after that, Hulkamania ran wild, brother.
Other clues.
He's ordained.
Other clues in Rocky 3 under sex and nudity. 4 barely dressed women ringside throughout the fight. They wiggle and try to be sexy, but they look like they have to pee.
They probably did. How long was that shooting
Now
day?
that is a parental warning. We can all get.
Violence and Gore, the main character, faces the World Wrestling Champion in a charity event. Multiple times of harmful wrestling moves are used on the main character, yet he never seems to be in extreme pain or shows cuts or bruising. He's thrown out of the ring. He then uses his bare knuckles to hit the wrestler. And Violence and Gore, the film has heavier, bloody boxing violence than any of the other movies in the series.
By the way, that second to last clue, pretty much the blueprint for Hulk Hogan's entire WWF run.
Joe, still in the lead at 13 points. Lloyd at 4. Liz at 1. Sammie down to -6. We are speeding through this game. We got 4 movies left. One more go around. One more for each of you. Joe, you get to pick this one. Would you like a movie from 1973, 1988, or 2021?
73.
73. From 1973 for 5 points, under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, people smoke cigarettes. A man tries a cigarette and expresses pleasure with the experience. Quote, "I'd smoke 2 or 3 a day." People drink alcohol.
Sammie!
Sammie, what do you think?
I don't think this is the year this movie came out. The Towering Inferno.
It is not The Towering Inferno.
I think I know it. Well,
That was a real guess, though.
That was a real guess.
That was a real
Isn't
guess.
it? Is the Towering Inferno 74?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, if that comes up, I'll guess it again.
Where are we? For 4 points under Violence and Gore, a man hits another man with a metal crowbar in the back of the head. The actual hitting is not seen. This kills him.
Damn.
All right, Sammie, what have you got this time?
Yeah, I'm apparently there was an athlete in a Dirty Harry movie.
There might have been, but this is not Dirty Harry.
Okay.
For 3 points under Violence and Gore, a mob riots and large trucks with scoops gather up people. All right, Liz, what do you think?
I'm probably wrong. Soylent Green.
featuring Chuck Connors. This is Soylent Green.
Wait, I got it right.
You got it right.
The shot in the dark. I was just like, it sounds like Soylent Green. It seems like the right time.
You nailed it.
I can't believe it. It's a miracle.
And I'm going to go right over and admit that Chuck Connors is one of those that I do not remember who he is or what he does.
He a tennis player?
Maybe.
I think he was a tennis player.
I default to football for the early the 70s and 60s, 80s. Also in Soylent Green, the main characters search for the murderer of the food producing corporation's president and discovery of the secret food. And frightening and intense scenes, the ending might be shocking for some, as it is revealed that the titular food is made from human remains, meaning that there was cannibalism the whole time.
Way to spoil the movie, Nick.
The trailer spoils the movie.
Played football,
I
baseball.
want to say that tennis in the 70s is much like a repressed memory. It happened, but nobody remembers it.
How dare you say they've made like 3 or 4 movies about tennis in the 70s over the last 10 years.
Listen, I almost said Billie Jean King, the movie.
No, that's called Battle of the Sexes.
Uh-huh.
Not in 1973.
No, I know.
Battle of the Sexes is okay.
Well, actually,
it's a pretty
that is
good
what it would have
movie.
been called in 1973.
Yeah, it's too bad that she's been, like aggressively white feminist ever since.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joe's still in the lead with 13, almost running away with it, but Liz and Lloyd are tied at 4. Sammie is at -8. You can still recover. There's still 15 points on the board.
I can't make it to 33, though. I can't make it to -33, though.
She's aiming down. Holy shit.
Liz, would you like a movie from 1974, 1987, or 1990?
1990?
1990. From 1990 for 5 points under violence and gore, only 3 people die in the entire movie. Sammie, what do you think?
Daryl Strawberry.
There's a
beats
name I
people
haven't
with a
heard, and I
baseball
don't know
bat.
how
The
long.
movie. Only 3 of them.
No.
Listen, it's really hard for me to I don't know a lot of sports people,
Mhm.
so I'm just like that sounds like a 1990 athlete who I've heard of.
It looks like Joe got up. I don't know if he's coming back.
Listen, that guess really offended Joe.
I've had those moments.
All right. Well, I'll read this clue, and if he comes back, I'll read it again. He's in the lead. He's fine. For 4 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, a police witness is shown purchasing drugs and overdoses at a later date.
Like all those 80s and 90s action movies where just drugs, fun. It's like
Mhm.
Oh,
All right, Sammie, what do you think this time?
is this hardball? It's not.
Hardball?
I thought isn't that a movie?
It is a movie with Keanu Reeves from the
Yeah,
2000s.
that's what I'm guessing.
It is not Hardball.
There were those are professional little league.
Mhm.
Those are athletes.
I'm wondering if I should wait or if I should just keep going. Again, he has 13 points. He's probably going to win.
Yeah.
For 3
He made the
points.
choice to get up. He's got the privilege.
For 3 points under sex and nudity, a boy repeats the line, quote, "Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina," meant for laughs.
Great movie.
Yeah, right?
This is not.
No. This is a movie from 1990.
Everything from 1990 ages so well.
Well, we've lost Sammie too. So, Liz, Lloyd, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm
1990.
losing it. I don't know that I ever had it. Oh, Monday.
I'm wondering, like now.
Am I on the show on Thursday? Is that right?
I believe you are.
Okay, good. All right. That's
Yeah,
what
I think you are. You're the only new contestant for that show.
What do you mean new?
I mean, it's the same people who were on the last one.
Okay.
Except it's you.
Jesus, that sounds
it's
so accusatory. I don't know if I'm gonna. I should rewatch the last one so that I know what not to guess.
That's not a bad idea.
Because I don't know, but I feel like that's one that I actually have a chance of winning because like my childhood was movie musicals. So
now, like, have you? Yeah, you've been on a show with Marty Viscosi before, right?
Yeah.
They cleaned up on that episode.
Yeah, I mean that
really
makes sense. Yeah, I'm not saying I could actually. I'm just saying it's a topic where I would actually think that I had a whatever snowball's chance. And no, what's the phrase? I don't know.
The phrase.
Idioms.
Lloyd, you're taking a guess after all this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lloyd. Awesome. What do you think?
I think I know what the movie is.
Is this,
see
if the streak continues, the court martial of Jackie Robinson?
No, it isn't.
Damn it. All right, it's worth a try.
I want to know if a character says those words in that movie as well.
Probably not, but I was just hoping maybe my streak of drama /
I might have a real guess.
Do you want to guess? I mean, we're just hanging out right now. What do you think, Sammie?
Is this Mr. Nanny?
It's still not Mr. Nanny.
Right.
I
mean, that was pure a Hulk Hogan movie.
Joe is going to be the first person to win this game after abandoning the game. For 2 points under profanity, the head.
Where is he?
Good question. The head of the school questions a man on the feeling of hitting a guy with the quote, "What did it feel like to hit that son of a bitch?" Funny.
They took Joe.
Liz, what do you think?
Kindergarten Cop.
Sammie, what do you think? This is, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop.
I almost guessed that after the last clue, but I didn't.
It's a bit like, I don't agree with the sentiment, but
it's a great movie.
It
is an entertaining movie.
That little boy is so cute and annoying.
It's not a tumor, though.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Not a tumor.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Speaking of tumors, where's Joe?
Oh, God.
They took Joe.
Final clue in that under frightening and intense scenes, the main character shouts at the whole class to shut up after the children make a big mess in the classroom. They cry gently as he runs out of the classroom and outside the school. He randomly screams.
Yep.
Speaking of running outside of the classroom, where's Joe?
2 movies remain. Joe, you're still in the lead with 13 points.
They took Joe. What did they take Joe?
Liz, you can still catch up. You're at 6 points.
Oh, wow.
Lloyd, you can still tie it. You're at 3 points.
Well,
Sammie,
I mean, if Joe doesn't come back, then yeah, I got it.
Sammie, you're at -9.
Why are we not Why are we not more concerned about the state of Joe?
He muted himself. He's fine.
That is literally not fair.
Don't know what what the logic is with that, but I believe it.
Somebody probably confused him for Rogan.
Icing us.
What the hell?
All right,
You don't need
Liz.
to ice us. You're already winning.
Liz, we're just going to keep playing this game, and if this ends before Joe gets back, it ends before Joe gets back.
I mean, he'll win, so it's fine.
What have we done with Joe?
Yeah. I figured I'd do a quick check to see if he messaged me, and he has not. So let's go.
Okay, cool.
Liz, would you like a movie from 1987, 2014, or 2021?
2014.
2014.
They took Joe. What the fuck? They took Joe.
Everyone's afraid of a movie from last year, and that's fair.
I'm afraid.
2014.
I can't be confident of like anything from the last like 4 years. It's
That's
just
fair. I'm not.
it's like what where
It's weird. Like, I used to be really good at remembering movie years until I started doing this game, and now I forget everything.
Here's something that happened in the last 4 years. They
Welcome
took
to my
Joe.
world.
2014, penultimate movie for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. The film as a whole is bright and colorful with an upbeat tone, but there are some moments that may scare younger children and make people emotional. Liz, what do you think?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sammie, what do you think?
This is, of course, Fallon Fox deserved better from this world. The movie.
Liz knows her favorite actor. This is Dave Bautista in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, man. Fuck.
I'd like to think I would have guessed that even with Joe here. So
I saw that movie. I should have known it, but they took Joe, and now I'm distracted.
I'm debating if and when Joe comes back to the show. You can all veto this if you want, because who cares? I might read him the clues that we've gone through and see if he knows any of these movies.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
it depends on if the
listen, I don't have a horse in this race.
Joe,
depends on if the show would otherwise be ending. Like if we get to the ending of the show and he's still not back.
it'll be the first time that's happened, and he might actually lose. We'll see. The other clues in Guardians of the Galaxy under profanity. After a character's demise, another character says, quote, "I called him an idiot," while mourning him.
Yep.
Sex and nudity. A man stares at a woman's butt.
Oh wait.
Oh,
there he
Joe.
is.
Hey, everything okay?
Where were you?
I had a kid emergency. She threw up.
I said they
Oh,
took
no.
Joe. 7 times I said it, man. I said they took Joe. They heard me. I annoyed them by saying it. They didn't say it out loud, but I said it. They took Joe. Where were you?
I'm back.
You're back. Is she okay?
Yeah, she's fine. We're good.
You still want to play this game?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Well, we have gone through 2 movies since you left.
And you're still winning.
You're still winning, but you're now up by 2 points.
Oh God.
So I'm going to do something for you because it's so close. I'm going to go back to the movies you missed and see if you can get them before somebody else got them.
This is
Okay.
unprecedented.
So, I've never done this in the game.
I'm going to get a
before.
drink. I'm not dead. I
No,
ain't
that's
joking.
fine. Lloyd knows what these movies are at this point.
I already forgot.
Sorry.
Did I
All
guess
right.
again?
I forgot the
Yep.
first one. Then.
All right. Joe, this is for you only. Say it if you think you know it. I'm going to go down to the 2-point clue.
Okay.
5 points. Violence and Gore, 1990. Only 3 people die in the entire movie.
No.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. A police witness is shown purchasing drugs and overdoses at a later date.
No.
Sex and Nudity. A boy repeats the line, quote, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. Men
Kindergarten
class.
Cop.
That's 3 points for Joe. And he's gone again.
Okay.
Back.
That's fine. Liz, I'm gonna keep your 2 points there because you were here and you deserve those points.
Okay, thank
But that
you.
is 3 points. And let's see if you can get this one on the 5-point clue like Liz did. 2014. Under where are we? Under frightening and intense scenes, the film as a whole is bright and colorful with an upbeat tone, but there are some moments that may scare younger children and make people emotional.
Oh.
All right, that movie was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Other clues in Guardians of the Galaxy, let me finish these. Sex and Nudity, a man stares at a woman's butt as she climbs the stairs and says that if he had a black light, the ship would, quote, look like a Jackson Pollock painting, referring to semen.
I'm so glad they specified that.
Violence and gore, this has an average amount of violence for an MCU movie. It doesn't have any gore. There are some scenes where large amounts of people are killed by various methods, being blown up, shot, having an arrow shot through their chest and out their backs. Little blood and no gore in every scene. In Violence and Gore, a tree creature stabs several bad guys and uses them to slam other men to the ground. We have 1 movie remaining tonight. Joe, you are still in first place with 16 points. Liz, you need to get this on the 5-point clue to cause a tie. You're at 11 points. Lloyd, you're at 3. Sammie, you're at -10.
In the positive, baby.
And Sammie, I believe you get to choose the last movie of the night.
Yep.
Would you like a movie from 1974, 1988, or 2021?
2021.
Oh, God.
There it is.
You hate us all.
What do we got to lose at this point, aside from Joe to whoever took him again?
Final movie of the night from 2021. This movie came out last year for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. A child is held hostage the whole film. Yeah, you got it. But I'm gonna go to Sammie first and just see what she's been thinking of this whole time.
This is actually appropriate to the clue. This is Free Brittany Griner. You bastard.
Liz, what do you think?
Space Jam.
What's the full title on that?
Oh, fuck you. It's called Space Jam, fuck you, Nick. Space Jam New Legacy.
Yeah, I would have given it to you anyway. This is Space Jam, A New Legacy. Liz, you got the 5-point clue.
I do that.
LeBron James in Space Jam, A New Legacy, which means you did something pretty interesting. Before we get to that, let me read these final clues. Under Violence and Gore, characters are comedically squished by rocks and UFOs with no injury detail, all for laughs. Frightening and intense scenes. Both Pennywise the Clown from the horror film series It, where it terrorizes children, and the murderous gang known as the Droogs, who commit acts of sexual violence against women in A Clockwork Orange, make an appearance, which may disturb viewers familiar with the above-referenced films.
Sammie's face right now.
Oh, Sammie, are you unaware with the cameos in Space Jam: A New
I
Legacy?
have
Yeah.
not seen it.
It was
You don't need to see
chaotic.
it.
It was
No,
so
the worst
chaotic.
one. The worst one. I forget the name of the movie. You might know. Is it The Devils? It is an X-rated
Why?
movie that it took a long time to get any sort of film release. But the nuns from that movie are in Space Jam: A New
Why?
Legacy. Because the premise of the movie is that they're just bringing in all of Warner Brothers media and
They
there's
really-
different Warner Brothers worlds that they go to, like the Matrix and Rick and Morty show up. And they're just trying to
What the
save.
premise of Space Jam: A New Legacy is that Space Jam: A New Legacy is the attack of the clones of Space Jam movies. In that, it should have never happened.
And I think
I've been
Don
so
Cheadle's-
afraid to watch Chippendale Rescue Rangers that I didn't even know to be afraid of this movie.
No, I'm telling you, don't do anything. Just go online and find a video of the cameos in Space Jam: A New Legacy. Fucking wild. Other things, alcohol, drugs, and smoking. A character drinks glasses of carrot juice to the point where he looks drunk. Played
Look
for
at that,
laughs.
you know that.
And profanity, a duck says, "You're despicable, son of a glitch."
That's not profanity.
Well-
that movie exists.
Well, Sammie, you're at -11. Lloyd, you're at 3. Joe and Liz, you are at 16 points each, which means we are going to a sudden death tiebreaker. It's been a while since
Jesus.
we did one of these. What that means is I have randomized these movies. This is just between Liz and Joe.
I know.
Buzz in if you think you know it. If you guess right, you win the game. If you guess wrong, your opponent wins the game.
Ooh.
So I have randomized these movies. Again, this is the movie that we are doing for the tiebreaker from 2016. Doesn't matter what the point values are. I'm going to read through until somebody buzzes in. Under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, a man gets stabbed with a dart, which seems to contain some form of sedative. Under violence and gore, a character mentions having eaten his own grandmother. All right, Joe, to end the game, what do you think this movie is?
Moana.
Joe, this movie features Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
God.
and it is Moana, making Joe the winner tonight.
I feel so dumb.
I had it on 5.
Did you?
Oh yeah, no, that is one of my favorite movies.
Well, let's just wrap this up. Under violence and gore, in one scene where a character is stuck underwater, her foot is stuck in some coral. When it's freed, a small amount of blood is seen. Frightening and intense scenes. That lava monster's pretty scary. Its movements and sounds are very creepy. And frightening and intense scenes, the film contains some scenes of peril, such as the one in the beginning of the film, where a girl and a man battle an entire army of creatures while at sea. They are seen attacked by the creatures who descend upon their boat and blow darts. That was Moana. This was Inappropriate Movie Database. Our final scores tonight, you know them, but I'm going to repeat them again. Sammie, I think you hit your new low at -11.
Yeah.
Lloyd at 3 points. Liz at 16 points. Joe also at 16 points, but getting the final movie, making Joe the winner for tonight. Huge comeback from, I think the last time you were on, you got like -13 or something.
I think I beat my total points by 22 because I think I was negative.
Oh
At
yeah,
least
no,
negative
you were.
10.
Yeah, you were. Oh, what a comeback! This is it's the sports episode. It's a comeback story.
Yeah, exactly.
This was so much fun. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Before we go, if there is anything you want to promote, anywhere you want to be found, or just any last words, Sammie, I'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. Follow me on all social media at Sammie James. I review horror movies as a demon character on TikTok. That's what the background is. I did a bunch of those today. I run 3 shows a month. You can find them on Eventbrite. If you look for my name or the organization We Are Trans, and for like in-person shows, June 4th, I am performing with a fantastic lineup at the Bell House in Brooklyn for Affirm Trans Kids, raising money for the legal battles against the bullshit that is facing trans youth across this country. And it's a great comedy show. Not just comedy. There's music. There's DJ. There's poets. There's just appearances by some famous people. Okay, it's everyone is more successful and famous than me who is on this show, but I'm on this show too. And then I have a whole bunch of in-person and Zoom shows between that and this other one, but I can't remember any of them. So if you're in Philly on June 25th, I'll be headlining Stir Lounge for their Pride show. Yeah.
Perfect. And you mentioned that we can see this other show online, right?
Yes. Yeah. The Affirm Trans Kids, June 4th. You can get tickets, see it on Zoom. And if you don't want to go, but you want to support people, you can donate. You can just donate to the cause and donate so that the trans youth who are having these horrible, experiences right now can just go to a nice show. See some famous people. Watch me do stand-up.
Wonderful. Yeah, check all that stuff out. Lloyd, you got anything coming up?
Death. That's what. Yeah. So first thing, I'll be on the show again at some point, undetermined. On May 30th, I am going to be starting a weekly segment on TikTok called the Common Sense and Decency Alert Desk, which is going to be, at this point, weekly, might become monthly because mental bandwidth, but that's going to be on May 30th. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter at Lloyd Legacy 617. There you can find any of the in-person or virtual shows I'll be doing. I don't have the wherewithal to list them all, and we don't have time left to talk about them all because, quite frankly, you should see anything Sammie's doing before you see anything about me. But you can also find me at Lloyd Legacy Sharp on Facebook, where you can also follow the Lloyd Legacy Tour update page for information about where I'll be comedically. Michael Legacy Jackson appearances, which is my karaoke alter ego that performs in New Hampshire and Boston on some Thursdays at a place that I'm not going to tell you unless you are good to people who are inclusive. And I'm going to send it back to the host now.
Lloyd, wonderful. Also, to answer your question, you'll be back here next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope. I have you on that list, but I might have you just on a wait list again. I forget.
I'm on the wait list. Yes.
Well, Lloyd might be on that show, so look at that. And finally, I don't know what happened to Joe. I assume he just had to leave. So check out Joe Buckley. But also Liz Estey. What do you have?
I'll be back on this show at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday to guest musical theater or musical movies. I'm sorry, movie musicals. What's the term? I'm messing it up.
You're guessing musicals.
And then as of right now, my other booking is in August. It's Sammie's show called The Waiting Room about healthcare.
Yes.
So
That's gonna be good. Liz has stories.
It's a really good lineup.
I honestly, my biggest challenge is gonna be which story, because like I can't do them all. But you know, like most people who aren't mainstream social body types, I have stories. Medical fat phobia is real and bad. Like scientifically, there's data that shows how harmful it is to patients. There's also data that shows that, like, generally speaking, overweight people don't actually lose years off their life. Like lots of the conditions that shorten lifespan are from a variety of issues, and it's not because they're fat. Like the fatness is often caused by the same socioeconomic and environmental factors that are causing the other illnesses. I'm preaching to the choir, but like this my jam. Anyway, so to any healthcare professionals watching, stop being fat phobic.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we skinny people are fragile as hell.
Like my little brother is so skinny. So yeah.
That's a good note to end this on, I think.
And wait, follow my Twitter at Liz Estey, follow my Instagram at Liz Estey. You can look on Facebook, but it's mostly just ads for the show. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all once again. Joe Buckley, wherever he is.
Rest in peace, Joe Buckley.
Oh God.
Also, Liz Estey, Lloyd Legacy Sharp, Sammie James. I'm Nick Martucci. You can find me on all social media at Blundering Idiom. Find the show on Facebook. Join the group if you search Inappropriate Movie Database or click the link in the description of this video. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at IMDb Game. Realized I forgot to promote this show on Instagram tonight. So look for that post late but happening. Like I said, look out. I'm going to start booking this show for June. So if you want to be a contestant on the show, please reach out to me in any of those areas. Look for the list of dates and themes. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to this. I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure Marty Viscosi previously mentioned is going to be hosting an episode. I think Sammie, I don't want to speak too soon, but I think Sammie's
I'm down. I am scouring IMDb.
Nick, whenever you need another episode, I have an idea for one that I would host.
We will have to talk about that. That might also happen. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTuber stuff, and hopefully you'll watch more of these. There's almost 100 of them. That's too many. Watch